All right, so we're up in the tree. As you saw in some of the footage earlier, we used our lineman's rope as we climbed up the tree. We used our linemen's to hold us basically to the tree, so I had both hands available when I installed our platform. I installed my tether, and then I climbed up on here. You'll notice at that point, I was clipped into both my tether and my lineman's rope, and that's for me to test my system, make sure that I installed everything correctly. You'll notice that at one point I kind of sat in the system, I was like, okay, I feel like the weight is being held properly, and at that point I removed my lineman's rope, and then I'm ready to go on further into my hunting. One of the really nice to haves, it's not a must-have type of a thing that I like to have in a tree, is an accessory hanger. This is real simple. It's a daisy chain of loops that goes around the tree. We have a product that it's just a hero clip that you can clip into one of those loops, and this becomes your public land friendly bow hanger. And then I always hang my backpack right here. For me, what that allows me to do is as I'm sitting here working, it expands the profile of the tree a little bit. I can get away with a little bit of movement behind my backpack because my bow's on one side, my backpack's on the other. My skinny tree is now just a little bit wider, and I can get away with a little bit more movement on here. But also, if I need anything, it's right here. I don't have to reach behind me. I don't have to do anything funky to be able to access my items that I'm gonna need over the course of the hunt. So that's kind of how I would sit here. One of the things that I get asked a lot is, how can I shoot a bow out of there? What are my directions? What am I gonna do? And we've kind of quartered off the area around the tree into different sections and gave them names based on where they are. I'm left-handed, so this may seem a little backwards to some of you guys, but for me, over here is gonna be my easy shot, right? And I would set up this tree very similar to you would in a tree stand so that the easy shot is where I'm gonna see the most action. I try and put it a little bit in front of the tree and a little bit to the right in my situation because that's where I'm the most comfortable shooting. It's no different than when I'm sitting up and prepping for a regular type of a hunt. If you had a tree behind you and you're back to the tree, that's still the area I'm trying to hunt. The only difference is I'm not on the front of the tree, I'm on the back. So it's a little bit of a mind shift in that situation. Once I get into the situation and I decided, okay, it's time for me that I'm gonna wanna take a shot. It's nothing for me to reach forward and grab my bow. I have it hung at a height so that my riser is right at shoulder height. So it's just a straightforward grab. I can grab my release. Now, depending on where I'm gonna be shooting, I try and keep a nice T form. So I keep my bow arm perpendicular to my bridge and my rope as much as I can. And what that does is, I'll turn here a little bit. If my arm's out like this, there's nothing impeding my string from any of my cams or on a recurve or anything coming up to my draw on my face. This is all clear. If I start getting all twisted up and do this, that's when not only do I have bad form, my hips aren't straight, my T is all jacked up, but now stuff's in the way. So what I would try and do is, real simple, is right here. I'm at a 90 degree. But if I need to shoot over there, I don't pivot like this and get caught up in my strings. I work my way around the tree. And what I'll do is, you can notice my hips shift a little bit. And when I do that, my bridge slides in my carabiner. So as I pivot my hips and work my way around, I've still got 90 degrees to my bridge and a good T form all the way over to here, which would be, one of the harder shots to make otherwise. But then I can work my way back. Here's my easy shot. So this would be considered our strong side shot in this quadrant. Then I've got what we would call our drop shot behind us. And with that, again, I pivot my hips, pivot my feet, and I'm able to get to this area here. The last area over here would be our weak shot. And that's the one that people always are like, well, how am I gonna shoot over there? There's a couple of different ways to kind of approach that. And one is like I had showed before, you can work your way around the tree, and this is gonna give me a good percentage of that weak side shot. But I can also come back around. Again, I'm pivoting my hips so that that bridge is sliding. I pivot my hips, rest my hip against the tree. Again, I've got a weak side shot. I've just been able to cover 360 degrees around the tree, and my feet never left the platform. There is one more way to get to that weak side shot. It's a little more involved, but once you get the hang of it, it's really easy. You've got your bow in your bow hand. reach up with your non-bow hand and grab the rope right here. And what you're gonna do is pull, and watch my feet, they're gonna kind of twist, do a little dance on the platform. And so I'm gonna do just a little dance, and as I pivot with my bow in my hand, I've now got my back against the tree, my bridge and my tether goes up over my non-dominant shoulder, and now I can make that weak side shot, and I'm fully supported both behind me, my butt's against the tree, my feet are on the ground. I've got multiple points of contact for a steady shot in what is considered the hardest shot to make as a saddle hunter. One thing that I always like to point out is there's some movement involved, right? But if you're set up in a tree stand and a deer comes in from behind you, you don't have an option. In my particular, my way I would like to think is, yeah, I'm gonna have to move to make that shot behind me, but I can make it. I don't even have the option otherwise. And you have that ability to do this, that, and get to your places. Another thing that you're not gonna be able to do in a tree stand, you're not gonna be able to do this for that straight down shot.